Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our channel, Digital Future AI School.
It's great to be back.
Before we jump in, just a quick reminder, kindly subscribe our channel, like and share with friends.
It really does help us continue making this content for you.
Okay, so let's get into it. This is the deep dive into episode 31 of the book AI Agent Makers, written by Mr. Zahir Ahmad Mir.
And this is, I think, one of the most critical deep dives we've done for you, the learner, because we are getting straight into, well, the operating system of professional knowledge.
That's a great way to put it. We're not just summarizing text today.
No, not at all. We are analyzing the structure, the logic, and the very blueprint required to move AI from being a conversational tool.
Like a chatbot.
Exactly. From a chatbot to being a trusted domain expert agent.
Absolutely. And our source material today is it's intensely focused. We are tackling excerpts from Appendix U 300 plus domain-specific professional tables for AI and business.
A huge resource.
It is. We're specifically looking at the first 100 tables. So this is the bedrock for legal analysis, which is U.1 and business strategy U.2.
And this is really where the magic happens. This is where complex, really nuanced professional expertise gets systematized.
So what's our mission today? What should you, the listener, be trying to get out of this?
Our core mission today is to explore how this, and I'm quoting here, complete library of structured, ready-to-use tables serves as the non-negotiable foundational data layer for AI agents.
A foundational layer.
Yeah,
Okay.
we need to understand how these highly detailed templates transform incredibly complex, specialized tasks.
The kind of stuff that takes human experts years and years to master.
Exactly right. Into standardized, measurable, and repeatable processes. So this deep dive, it's really your shortcut to being well-informed about the future of expertise.
It shows you how the leading practitioners are preparing their fields for the age of AI.
That's it.
Okay, so we've established this is about structured thinking. Let's begin right where the author starts. Defining the systematic framework itself.
Let's do it.
The fundamental concept here is, well, it's the systematic structuring of professional knowledge. The book details part 1, tables 1 through 100, and then promises 200 more.
So this is just the beginning of a much larger library.
Right, and it's not just about organizing data, is it? And it feels like it's about imposing a singular, robust, cognitive framework onto what is often chaotic, narrative-based expertise.
That is the perfect word for it, chaotic. And the immediate overriding purpose of this systematic standardization is, well, it's the industrialization of insight.
The industrialization of insight. Unpack that for us.
Well, think about it. Traditionally, professional expertise in law, finance, consulting, it was inherently subjective, right? It lived inside the head of the human expert.
It was an art, not a science.
An art, exactly.
Yeah.
So by imposing this structured schema, the book is trying to achieve two things at once: consistency and speed.
Okay, so consistency and speed. How does that work in practice?
Well, when an AI agent is told to perform a task, let's say, conducting due diligence, it doesn't waste compute cycles trying to infer what a key risk factor might look like across thousands of different documents.
You didn't have to guess.
It doesn't have to guess.
Yeah.
It instantly knows the structure, risk, probability, impact, mitigation, because the table provides that known schema.
So that consistency, it just eliminates all the ambiguity.
It eliminates ambiguity, it drastically reduces processing time, and critically, it moves AI beyond simply summarizing text to actually performing complex objective analysis.
That distinction is so important. I mean, it's the difference between asking an LLM to summarize a 50-page legal brief.
Which can be useful, but...
Right, but it often gives you this kind of fluffy, non-committal narrative. It's totally different from instructing it to populate, say, the case summary table 1.
Yes.
Because that table forces the output to be discrete, measurable, and, well, actionable.
Precisely. And this is where we really have to get into the technical benefit, especially when we talk about retrieval augmented generation or RAG pipelines.
Okay, so RG. For anyone who's not deep in the weeds on this, what do we mean?
So when an AI agent uses RG, it retrieves relevant snippets of text from its knowledge base to help inform its answer. It's looking for context.
Right.
Now, if that knowledge base is unstructured, just full of free-form documents, PDFs, emails, the RG system pulls in a massive amount of what you could call computational noise.
Meaning irrelevant data, long paragraphs, descriptive fluff that doesn't actually contain the critical variables you need.
You've got it. But when the RG system retrieves data from these standardized tables, the system is retrieving pre-digested knowledge.
Ah,
It
okay.
doesn't have to spend its processing power, its tokens, sorting through 100 paragraphs of evidence descriptions. It retrieves only the row that links fact no 27 directly to its evidence supporting it and its related issue.
So it's hyper efficient.
Incredibly, this fixed field structure, it dramatically reduces latency, it improves the purity of the data, and it allows the AI agent to run these high-speed analyses far more efficiently than if it were dealing with just narrative text. The table acts like a perfectly indexed library for the AI.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. The sources detail seven high-stakes design principles these tables must meet. This isn't just about making the AI faster.
No, it's about making the entire operation reliable across the most demanding professional fields. It's a rigorous set of universal criteria.
So we already talked about the first one, AI-friendly, fixed fields, standardized formats.
Right, but the counterpoint to that is just as important. Human readable.
Human readable, so even though it's built for a machine, a person has to be able to understand it at a glance.
Exactly. Despite the underlying complexity of the topic, the structure must be immediately intelligible to a CEO or a partner at a law firm or even a student. The structure has to simplify the presentation of complexity, not add another layer of jargon on top.
That makes sense. Then we get into the really domain-specific rigor. For the legal sector, the tables have to be court-ready.
And that implies a level of precision that it just goes far beyond what you'd see in standard business reports.
What does that mean, court-ready?
It means non-negotiable precision. If you are structuring legal arguments or evidence summaries or procedural checklists, the format and the data must meet the legal requirements for documentation accuracy.
And verifiable sourcing, I imagine.
Verifiable sourcing and formal submission. This means the structure itself has to reflect the legal definition of, say, due process or prima facie evidence. You can't just make it up.
Okay. And then for the corporate world, they need to be dual purpose, business standard and startup optimized.
Yeah.
Now, why would one table need to serve two masters like that? A huge Fortune 500 company and a tiny three-person startup.
That's a great question, and it really gets at scalability and agility. Business Standard ensures the tables can integrate seamlessly with existing large-scale systems.
Like an ERP system or financial databases.
Exactly. Enterprise resource planning systems, audit trails, ensuring scalability and robust data governance. They're designed for high-volume, long-term tracking.
And the startup side.
Startup Optimized, on the other hand, speaks to speed and necessity. A startup needs the break-even analysis table or the TAM-SAM-SOM table filled out accurately today to make a go-no-go decision.
There's no time to waste.
None. The structure cuts through all the administrative overhead, giving them maximum strategic insight with minimal input effort. It's structure, but without the bureaucracy.
And this next one ties back directly to our channel name, which I love. The requirement for them to be education grade.
This is fascinating, isn't it? It implies the structure itself is a pedagogical tool. It's a teaching tool.
How so?
Well, it serves as cognitive scaffolding. Think about a student or any learner new to a topic. If you just ask them to write a memo on a new lease agreement, they might overlook critical statutory requirements.
I don't know what they don't know.
Right. But if you force them to fill out the rent law detail table, 16, they have to systematically enter the tenant name, the rent due, the date paid, the statutory grace period, and that ultimate column, legally defaulted, yes, no.
So the table itself forces them to consider every legally defined step in the process.
It prevents those common novice errors like forgetting to check the statute of limitations or skipping a required notification period. The table teaches the process.
Okay, and the last one. They have to be government compliant.
Absolutely. This means meeting regulatory and public sector standards, which often involves very specific, granular data points for reporting, transparency, and accountability.
So this is for things like tax law or public procurement.
Tax law, public procurement, specific industry regulation like in financial services, you name it. Government compliance often dictates not just what data you collect, but how you label and present it. These tables ensure that the data structure is pre-vetted against those often arcane but totally non-negotiable public sector requirements.
So if you, the learner, are listening to this and you're not building an AI, why does all this matter? What's the profound personal takeaway from understanding that expertise is being reduced to these fixed tables?
It matters because these structures are the distilled essence of competence.
The essence of competence. I like that.
They represent a quality control checklist developed over thousands of hours of professional practice. If you, a human, are tasked with building a marketing strategy and you fill out the lead generation table source, conversion rate, cost, ROI correctly, you have inherently performed the necessary analysis.
So the table isn't just storing the data.
It's forcing the strategic thinking.
Yeah.
You bypass years of guesswork and you get right to the core decision-making variables. The table is, in essence, a map of professional mastery.
It provides the cognitive rails for high-stakes decision-making. That rigor is exactly what we see as we dive into the first half of this library. Let's see how this applies to the chaotic, detail-driven world of legal practice.
Let's do it.
Okay, the journey from unstructured legal documents, sprawling briefs, dense statutes, contradictory transcripts, to 50 professional and court-standard legal tables is, well, it's a tectonic shift.
It absolutely is. We are transforming litigation into modular, repeatable analysis points ready for AI agents to execute tasks that, frankly, once required a senior partner's oversight.
And the legal domain is built on consistency and precedent, isn't it? But the execution is so often mired in data mismanagement.
That's the paradox. These tables impose structure to extract the necessary logic from that chaos. Let's start with the immediate triage tools, the foundational elements you'd need for instant case understanding.
Okay, so the first few tables are designed for rapid situation assessment. We start with the case summary table, the high-level synthesis, and then move quickly into the core logic tables.
Yes. But the analytical power, it truly starts at the facts table, too.
Okay, a facts table.
It requires a fact number, a description, and then the crucial adjacent column, evidence supporting it.
Right, because a fact without supporting evidence is just an assertion. It's legally useless.
Exactly. By forcing this immediate linkage in a standardized field, the AI agent, or the human reviewing the table, knows instantly whether a claim is actually substantiated. This linkage transforms simple data entry into analytical validation.
It's a built-in fact checker.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And that framework leads directly into defining the legal battleground with the issues framed Table 3.
So this is where you lay out the core arguments.
Yes, you structure the challenge around an issue number and the relevant law, but the column that dictates strategy and resource allocation is importance.
Importance, so you're ranking them.
You are forcing prioritization. Imagine an AI agent reviewing a case with 12 potential legal arguments. Without that importance ranking, high, medium, low, or a 1 to 10 scale, the AI would dedicate equal computational resources to a minor procedural motion and a major constitutional question.
Which would be a huge waste of time and money.
A total waste. This column is the human or AI strategist's prioritization key. It ensures that the legal battleground is effectively managed from the outset.
And I see there's also the ratio decidendi table 4. What's that for?
That codifies the central legal principles of previous cases, the core binding logic. This is fundamental to appellate work and writing briefs that actually persuade a judge. You're isolating the reason for the decision from past rulings.
So if the first few tables handle the static, foundational legal arguments, the next set of tables looks like they're designed to handle the dynamic, messy reality of human inputs.
Yes, ambiguity, contradictions, complex testimony. This is where the AI agent really earns its stripes by managing credibility risk.
And managing credibility is paramount in any legal case.
It's everything. Look at the witness summary table 8. It details the witness name, their relevance to the case, and most importantly, it flags crucial contradictions within their statement.
How would an AI use that?
Well, an AI is superb at pattern recognition across thousands of documents. If a witness's statement in an affidavit from today contradicts their prior deposition transcript from 6 months ago, logging this difference in the standardized contradictions column allows the AI to immediately calculate the risk to the case narrative.
So it moves the AI from just data entry to high-level litigation strategy.
That's the leap. And that leads us directly to the evidence matrix table 23, which is really the operational hub for all proof.
This looks comprehensive. It maps every item, evidence item, type, what it proves, and its related issue.
It eliminates the problem of siloed evidence review. No more Exhibit A is in this file and Witness B's testimony is over here.
It creates a fully traceable chain of proof.
It has to. The entire system is designed around the understanding that a successful legal argument is simply a seamless, verifiable chain from fact to evidence to issue to law.
Fact, evidence, issue, law.
The matrix enforces that chain.
Yeah.
And to go even deeper, we have the dedicated evidence contradiction map 36, which is just ruthless in its precision.
Ruthless how?
It demands the statement, the contradiction itself, the comparison source, for example, document A versus witness B, and the ultimate assessment, impact on case.
Wow. So you're not just noting that a contradiction exists, you're pinpointing its origin and assessing its magnitude, its potential damage to your case.
You're forced to. There's no hiding from it.
I want to spend a moment on the domain specificity here, because this is where the depth of the book really stands out. I mean, these aren't just generic spreadsheets.
Not at all.
They handle niche, high-detail statutory requirements. Let's use the rent law tables as an example. We've got the rent default table 16 and the section 5A increase table 17.
These are perfect examples of how rigid statutory and government compliance requirements are distilled into measurable columns.
So take the rent default table.
Okay, it forces systematic tracking of the financial facts: month, rent due, rent paid, delay. But the key analytical column is the final determination: legally defaulted, yes, no.
And that's not just a simple math calculation.
It can't be. It implies that the human or the AI agent has checked all the local statutes regarding grace periods, notice requirements, and payment mechanisms before rendering that legal conclusion.
So the table structures the entire analysis process required to reach a legally binding finding.
It does. And the Section 5A increase table does the same thing. It tracks the period, previous rent, the mandated increase, the new rent, and crucially, tenant paid.
This is all about structuring compliance checks to prove a claim in summary proceedings.
Right. It forces the human or the agent to verify that every single legally defined step for a rent increase was followed perfectly. No shortcuts.
The detail here shows the need for these comprehensive auditing structures. But the most critical elements in litigation are often the procedural non-negotiables, right? The things that can sink a valid case instantly, regardless of the facts.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the structural rigor provides critical triage.
You're talking about the tables dedicated to ensuring the case even belongs in court in the first place, like the jurisdiction test table 25 and the limitation calculation table 37.
These tables are the ultimate triage mechanisms. They are the gatekeepers.
So the jurisdiction test table.
It requires you to define the legal test, the requirement, and then answer the binary question. Satisfied? Yes or no? If the answer is no, the case is over before it begins.
It prevents the firm from dedicating resources to cases that will just be dismissed on technical grounds.
Wasting hundreds of hours. Now look at the limitation calculation table 37. This is paramount for preventing malpractice.
The statute of limitations.
Exactly. You must track the start date of the legal injury, the end date of the statutory period, and determine within time.
The implication for AI here is huge. If an AI agent were handling thousands of initial client intake forms,
Go on.
these two tables, jurisdiction and limitation, they would act as an instantaneous filter. They could save potentially millions in wasted legal hours by identifying procedurally unsound claims in seconds.
It's risk management built right into the structure. And speaking of risk, we have to dive into the structure's design for internal quality control and managing legal hazards, especially human error or misconduct.
Where do we see that?
The Case Strength Assessment Table 27 is fascinating because it forces the quantification of what is often left as just subjective intuition, a gut feeling.
Right. It requires the user to define a factor, assign a strength score from 1 to 10, list the supporting evidence, and identify the specific risk. You are literally quantifying professional judgment itself.
That 1 to 10 score is where the human expert provides their confidence level, which the AI then relies upon for portfolio management. If 90% of your current cases score a strength of 3, you need to radically reassess your firm's strategy.
And what about the most severe type of risk?
That we must analyze in depth. It's tracked in the perjury risk table 43.
Okay, perjury risk table. This sounds like an internal ethics and compliance checkpoint. It has columns for statement, false, proof, and the consequential legal section violated.
This feels like the most critical high-stakes compliance table in the entire section, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
This table forces the firm to assess the internal risk of intentionally or even unintentionally misleading the court. If an AI agent, cross-referencing all case documents, flags a high risk of perjury, the firm cannot plead ignorance.
And that field for legal section violated. That forces immediate severe corrective action.
It has to. It's a proactive measure against heavy penalties, sanctions, even disbarment. The mere existence of this table demonstrates the systematic approach to ethical governance required for modern professional practice.
The sheer breadth here is remarkable. We even see structures for analyzing the procedural efficiency of the court itself, like the adjournment analysis table 46.
Right, tracking the date, reason, petitioner ready, opponent ready, and the crucial court view.
What's the point of tracking that?
That kind of metadata allows for advanced predictive modeling. An AI analyzing hundreds of these tables across various judges could start to determine which reasons for adjournment are most frequently accepted or rejected by specific judges.
So you're optimizing future scheduling and presentation based on a judge's tendencies.
You're providing insight into judicial tendency. And finally, you have the precedent weight table 50.
This one codifies the case, the court level, and the binding strength. This seems to eliminate the subjective interpretation of legal authority.
That's exactly its job. It tells the AI agent, is this case a suggestion, which is persuasive authority, or is it a command, which is binding precedent? The entire U.1 legal section takes the qualitative chaos of a lawsuit and distills it into 50 rigorous, measurable, and highly specific modules.
Making legal expertise trainable, auditable, and repeatable.
That's the goal.
The clarity and rigor are just. They're impressive. Now, let's move to the high-stakes, fast-paced, and much more fluid world of business and startups in Section U.2. The stakes are different. They're about market survival, not legal compliance, but the need for structured thinking, I imagine, remains identical.
Identical, just with different variables.
Okay, so transitioning from the rigidity of legal statutes to the dynamism of market competition, this category of tables dictates how organizations strategize, forecast, and pivot.
Right, and the agent maker's concept really shines here by providing the necessary structured agility for rapid decision-making.
What's fascinating to me is the conceptual unity. The same kind of structure that's applied in law to manage evidence is applied here to manage market factors.
It's a universal principle. Successful expertise, whether it's in a courtroom or a boardroom, relies on defining the critical variables and tracking them systematically. The business tables standardize the entire life cycle of a company, starting with defining the business itself.
So let's analyze how they standardize the very start of any venture. The foundation is the Business Model Canvas Table, 51. This turns the classic complex planning document into a simple component and description structure.
This is the rapid hypothesis tool. It's built for speed.
How so?
Instead of requiring weeks to draft a detailed 30-page business plan, the AI or the user can ingest or generate the 9 core components like key partners, cost structure, and revenue streams in minutes.
And that structure allows for rapid scenario analysis.
Instantly. The AI can compare 2 different monetization strategies just by adjusting the revenue streams component, which enables a rapid evaluation of potential pivots before you've invested a single dollar.
Okay, so once the model is defined, the next crucial step is market definition. And that's standardized by the TAM-SAM-SUM Table 53.
Total available market, serviceable available market, and serviceable obtainable market.
For the learner listening, why is this breakdown, with its columns for value and explanation, so critical for accuracy?
Because it forces grounded reality checks and it prevents over-optimism.
Which is rampant in startups.
Rampant. TAM is a vanity metric. It's the theoretical ceiling, the if we captured 1% of the market in China number.
Right.
SAM is what you can realistically reach with your current business model. But SOM is what you can capture right now with your current resources.
So an AI agent using this table has to differentiate between these 3 metrics.
It has to, in order to create accurate, non-hallucinatory sales projections. If your SOM projection vastly exceeds your current capacity, the AI should flag a resource allocation failure immediately. The table demands strategic granularity.
The moment you define the market, you have to look at your rivals. This is handled by the Competitor Comparison Table 52 and the SWOT Matrix 65.
And the use of standardized fields, price, features, strength, weakness, ensures the analysis is objective and metric-driven, not just based on anecdotes.
We're better because our logo is cooler.
Exactly. Standardized benchmarking is vital. The Competitor Comparison Table allows the AI to instantly cross-reference dozens of rivals across consistent features. This avoids the common business pitfall of comparing yourself favorably only on the dimensions where you already excel.
And the SWOT matrix.
That provides the essential qualitative overlay, structuring the strategic discussion into internal factors, your strengths and weaknesses, and the external context, your opportunities and threats. It's ready for rapid strategic decision-making.
Okay, now let's move to the Financial Control Center.
Yeah.
The absolute heart of operational survival. If the legal tables look backward for compliance, these tables are all looking forward for sustainability.
Financial health relies entirely on consistent tracking and accurate projection. There's no room for error. We start with the basic financial projection table, 56-month revenue, expenses, profit.
That's the simple tracking mechanism.
It is, but contrast that with the sales forecast table, 72, which incorporates a crucial human variable, the confidence level.
Ah, the confidence level. That's the sales manager's gut feeling or specific pipeline insight.
It's the human in the loop. The AI doesn't just use a simple linear average. It calculates the weighted average expected sales based on that subjective confidence level from the team on the ground.
Which creates a much more nuanced, realistic projection.
It blends human intuition with algorithmic rigor. And critical to operational survival is defining the static goalpost, the break-even analysis table, 57.
This requires fixed cost, variable cost, selling price, and the resulting break-even units.
This defines the minimum viable operational target. If you don't know the exact number of units or services you need to sell just to stop losing money, your business plan is fundamentally flawed. This table makes that threshold absolutely explicit.
But profitability doesn't guarantee survival, does it?
Not at all. The ultimate arbiter of day-to-day operations is liquidity, and that's tracked by the cash flow table, 95. Month, inflow, outflow, and net cash.
A company can be profitable on paper, but die if its cash flow is poorly managed.
Net cash is the operational lifeblood. By structuring these tables, an AI agent can monitor this metric constantly, running real-time variance analysis and flagging liquidity risks well before they become catastrophic. These are high-frequency, high-stakes reports.
Okay, let's shift gears to growth marketing, sales, and customer focus. This is the domain of tactical performance tables. We have some really detailed structures here for lead generation and advertising results.
We do. The lead generation table 54 tracks lead source, conversion rate, cost, and ROI.
Which allows for instantaneous objective channel comparison.
Right. Why is channel A converting at 1% with a high cost, while channel B converts at 4% with a lower cost? The structured data allows the AI to highlight the poor performers and recommend budget reallocation instantly.
So you're moving money based on data, not on historical inertia or someone's pet project.
That's the idea. And we optimize that spending with the ad performance table, 59, tracking impressions, clicks, CPC, conversions. This is pure measurable digital spending. And it's paired with the ad creative testing table, 93.
Which compares specific creative iterations, different ads based on hard metrics like click-through rate and conversion.
This is the scientific method applied to marketing. You standardize the experiment creative A versus creative B, and the structured table provides the objective, comparable results.
And an AI agent using this structure could execute an entire optimized campaign cycle.
Think about it. Analyze the ad performance table, identify the highest converting channel, cross-reference the creative testing table for the best performing ad copy, and then issue the command. Pause underperforming creative A. Stale top performing creative B by 30% across channel X. All driven by structured data without a human intervention required for the raw analysis.
We also have to address the fundamental threats to growth, which means focusing on the customer experience. The churn analysis table, 86, tracks the fundamental threat to any subscription-based business.
Reason and count. Knowing why customers leave is mission critical.
So if the table reveals that the top reason for churn is poor support response time,
the structured data immediately points to the necessary operational fix in the support department. And this is paired perfectly with the customer feedback table, 75. Feedback, source, category.
By forcing categorization usability, billing issue, feature request, the AI can filter the noise.
It can aggregate sentiment and then prioritize product development using the app feature prioritization table, 85, which is based on feature, impact, and effort.
Okay, finally, let's look at operational maturity and the systematic management of uncertainty.
The risk register table 67 is one of the most important management tables in any domain, legal or business.
It structures proactive threat mitigation, risk, probability from 1 to 5, impact from 1 to 5, and a concrete mitigation plan.
So if a team identifies the risk of, say, a critical third-party software vendor going bankrupt,
right,
that's high probability, high impact.
The mitigation column forces the assignment of a specific countermeasure.
Like implement redundancy with vendor B within 30 days.
That's the power of the structure. It forces action. It doesn't allow a risk to just exist on a list without a predefined measurable response.
Precisely. And structuring personnel management is just as vital for scaling. The hiring plan table 68 defines position, skills required, and salary range, eliminating ad hoc hiring. And the team performance table 100 standardizes accountability.
Team member, KPI score, and notes. That notes field seems important.
It is. That's where the human qualitative assessment meets the objective KPI score, ensuring accountability is both metric-driven and reflective of professional mentorship. The business tables overall function as a massive systematic control panel for measuring, predicting, and controlling the variables necessary for sustainable growth.
So if we connect this combined library of 100 tables, 50 legal, 50 business, to the bigger picture, what emerges?
What emerges is a powerful underlying truth about modern professional life, and that is that successful expertise is not some mystical art. It relies on identifying the same 3 to 5 critical variables, whether they are legal compliance steps or financial flow metrics, and tracking them systematically.
It really is the ultimate triumph of the framework over the free-form narrative. Whether you are assessing the binding strength of a legal precedent in the precedent weight table 50, or you're calculating the expected return in the ROI table 99.
You're performing the exact same cognitive function.
Exactly. You're isolating the minimum necessary inputs to reach a critical, objective conclusion.
And this standardization is the paramount advantage for the AI agent, and by extension, for you, the learner. Let's talk about the sheer time savings this library provides. We mentioned REB efficiency earlier, but let's try to quantify the operational time saving.
Well, instead of an AI agent needing weeks of training or massive compute cycles just to infer the structure of a legal brief or a complex financial report, these templates provide instant context. They give it input fields.
The AI doesn't have to figure out the structure of a legal brief or a business plan.
It just needs to fill in the predefined columns.
Huh.
This enables complex analysis for the user who is short on time but high on curiosity. It's so much faster. It's like giving the AI a custom-built, perfectly labeled interface for every single professional task you can imagine.
And the strategic benefit is in the difference between unstructured and structured output.
What do you mean?
If you instruct a RAG pipeline to summarize the status of our top 5 sales leads, the output will likely be 5 paragraphs of descriptive text. It'll be a narrative.
Okay.
But if you instruct it to populate the sales forecast table, 72, and lead generation table, 54, for the top 5 leads, the output is a standardized, actionable data set.
Which is ready for immediate cross-referencing against the financial projection table.
Exactly. Structured data in, structured output out. That means instant integration and analysis.
I really want to encourage active listening here and ask you, the learner, to consider the scope of this whole endeavor by contrasting 2 specific tables we discussed today.
Which 2?
The meticulous detail required for a contempt assessment table, 40, versus the future-oriented product roadmap table, 74.
That contrast perfectly illustrates the universality of this methodology.
How so?
Well, the contempt assessment table is strictly backward-looking. It's about rigid compliance. It defines the action, the court order violated, the proof, and the consequence. It's a severe, necessary auditing tool.
And the product roadmap.
The product roadmap table is purely forward-looking. It defines the quarter, the feature, and the status. It's all about agile, flexible, market-driven growth.
And yet the structured approach applies equally and effectively to both.
To both backward-looking legal compliance and forward-looking business growth. It demonstrates the comprehensive nature of this knowledge library. The knowledge isn't changing. The way we structure and process it is the revolutionary element here.
We've had a really comprehensive journey today, diving deep into the core structure of professional knowledge provided in the book AI Agent Makers. We started with the intense rigor of legal analysis U.1, mapping out case facts, contradictions, procedural checks like jurisdiction, and those high-stakes risk tables like perjury.
And then we transitioned into the high-stakes world of business strategy U.2, where these structured tables govern financial projection, break-even analysis, competitive benchmarking, and systematic risk mitigation. The common denominator is the book's goal.
Which is?
Creating comprehensive, structured, multi-domain knowledge bases, a necessary library for achieving truly effective and scalable AI agents.
You know, this all raises an important question for me.
Go on.
We have seen tables designed to assess the objective strength of a case, the risk of perjury, the likelihood of profit. All of it distilled into standardized objective columns. So if professional knowledge across law and business can be systematically codified into hundreds of these specialized tables, where every critical variable is defined, does this process ultimately standardize professional judgment itself? And what implications does that have for the unique value of human experts?
That's a huge question.
I mean, if a perjury risk table can codify moral and legal compliance with 4 objective columns, what level of unstructured ethics or strategic insight is truly left purely to human intuition?
That is the core debate of the AI agent era. We are, in effect, giving the machine the structure of expertise. The human expert will likely transition from filling in the data and performing the basic calculations,
What?
to validating the structure, to interpreting the strategic implications of all that aggregated structured data, and to providing the initial confidence levels. They move from the role of a practitioner to the role of an architectural oversight.
A fascinating thought to leave you with, the learner, as you consider how structured thinking is actively reshaping your own profession. Thank you so much for joining this deep dive into the source material.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon with more insights from the Digital Future AI School.